Let's welcome Larry Nebel. Larry Nebel, former track owner at Red River Co-op Speedway.
This video production is sponsored in part by RD Sales and Service. We service what others sell. For all mechanical repairs, trust our professionals. RD Sales and Service is a proud sponsor of the number 17 Super Truck and Sprint Car.
This is Kevin Magan in the 14. And starting inside of row number 6, in the 11th starting position, he drives the Coroma Toilets Dynasty Bathrooms number 2. He has won every truck feature this year except for one. Jamie Vernow starting at the back. And next up, starting outside of row number 5, he drives the Neil and Nick's Lawn Care Mechanicor number 5. Let's hear it for Glenn Manning. And inside of row number 5, in the 9th starting position, the only female competitor in the Super Truck division, this is the RD Sales and Service 17, Tavia Dorge. And starting outside of row number 4, in the 8th starting position, he drives the Dynasty Bathrooms Balkan & Sons Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning number 1. This is George Balkan. And in the Gourmet Coffee Specialist, A1 Environmental Emery Demolition 73. How about it? This is Ian Russo at the wheel. All right, moving into row number 3 outside in the 6th starting position. He drives the Trucks Unlimited GW Transmission 04. This is the veteran Wayne Grosky. And starting inside of row number 3, in starting position number 5, in the Enns Brothers Patura Seeds number 18, this is Dustin Enns. Moving into row number 2, in the 4th starting position, this is the RentalRaceCar.com Miller Racing Engines 22. The driver is Danik Picton. And starting inside row number 2, driving the 67, it's his birthday. How about it? In the Davenport Interiors 67, Mark Zondag. And now we move to the all-important row number 1, starting outside of row number 1. In the Riverworks Custom Homes Miller Engines, number 29, Shane Holden. And starting on the pole for $1,300 to win, the veteran out of Winger, Minnesota. This is the Luckin Corporation number 30, and it's a Ford, Lynn Luckin. Well, what do you say, Winnipeg? Are you guys ready to turn these guys and girls loose? All right, I need all of your help. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna count down from 5, and when we get down to 1, I want you all to help me with the phrase, ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Are you ready, Winnipeg? Here we go. Let's hear ya. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Well, Larry Niebel joining us up here in the booth. Larry, you know, you started that class and a lot of people thought you were nuts. Well, I got to admit, I was one of them. But I'm also got to give you credit because some of the best races we've seen in the last bunch of years have come from this exact class right here.
Yeah, you know, it was one of those things where I wasn't sure how it was going to go. You know, the biggest thing was trying to get some trucks here and trying to find the chassis. The bodies came out of Pro Body. Like I say, it started off slow. We had 3 trucks. I remember one of the racers saying they could have their drivers meeting in a phone booth, and it was true. But you know what? It grew. NOPA helped out a lot when we brought in the class sanctioning with them. The 7 tracks came on board. They were running trucks all over the place. And I'll tell you what, to this day, this class is probably one of my favorites. They look so nice. They're always a good, tight race, and fun to drive.
Well, and the other thing, too, is the best-selling car in the prairies is a truck. So, I mean, it's got broad appeal. That's another thing we need to talk about, but we'll leave that for another night. NOPA. That was something that was a real brainstorm, I thought, and unfortunately went the way of the dodo bird. But some other night we'll talk about that. But that was your brainchild, wasn't it?
Well, it started off. Terry Blacklands called me in I believe it was the fall of 2000. If my memory's very good anymore, but getting a little bit up there in age now. So, but so he called me up and he said, Larry, he says, I want to get this organization together. He says, let's brainstorm some stuff together. And so between myself and Terry Blacklands, we founded the NOPA organization. We got the tracks involved from the U.S. And at one point we had 7 tracks on the NOPA program, and that was from Minnesota, North Dakota, and of course here in Winnipeg. And we were running, I think the street stock class at that time was the Winnipeg Streets. So that was the rules I originally started here in Winnipeg. When I took over the track in 1995 with the Winnipeg Streets. So they adopted those street stock rules, and the other tracks adopted them. So we were running the same street program at 7 different tracks. And at that time, that was huge. WISSOTA wasn't on a street program back then. This was new. So at the time, NOPA was way ahead of its time. I can tell you that much.
I have to tell you, I wish it still existed today. There was a whole lot about NOPA that I liked, and granted, whether it would be WISSOTA, NASCAR, NOPA, nothing's perfect, but I think most guys that ran for that series have pretty fond memories of it.
Yeah, it was a good deal, and there was some huge payouts at the end of the year. I remember, I think it was like $1,000, $2,000 to win the championship, and that was huge back then. So yeah, it was great. And then with the super trucks, that's what they needed. They needed to get out of just Winnipeg because it was just a local track, local class. And once we opened the doors to the U.S. tracks and had them running in Grand Forks and Greenbush and Bemidji, like Hallock, I think was running back then. That's right, yes, Hallock. So there was lots of places for these guys to run. They were running up to 4 shows a week sometimes, these trucks. And we were probably, like I say, when I left, I was probably averaging about 16 trucks a night. And it was a great show. Great field tonight, 12 trucks. Good to see Lynn Luckin out and Kevin Braggett. I can't believe it. Wow, this is real good. I think we're going to be in for a treat.
Well, Lynn Luckin was up last week, and it's always nice to see Lynn around. Kevin Braggett, I haven't seen Kevin race up here for got to be a few years now, but the KBR chassis, the chassis of choice around here, we were explaining to the folks earlier that Kevin Braggett is the guy. He is KBR chassis, lives in Lake Bronson, Minnesota. He'll tell you the most beautiful place on the planet. And right now we're trying to get the lights working in turn 3. If you're wondering if the Pace trucks had his signal light stuck on, no, it wasn't that simple. But we got some light problems in turn 3, and it's dark. Well, oddly enough, who's got one? Oddly enough, Larry Niebel standing beside me, and he says, the power bar you need to go to is right behind, what sign? Oakwood Roofing sign. See, if you look under the Oakwood Roofing sign, you can see all the electrical conduit going in there. Except all the people I'm talking to are on this side of the fence, unfortunately.
Actually, that would be vintage.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be worth the price of admission.
Actually,
I'd love to see that.
with a Mike's Hard Lemonade in the other hand.
Well, let's see if this really happens. I'm not going to say a thing till I see him cross the track, but this could be good.
Well, I'll tell you, you remember those days. How many employees did the Speedway have? Well, Thursday to Thursday, 2.
Right.
Thursday nights, there was lots of us, but, well, not as many as we have now, but all week long it was Larry and, no, he's not going. They won't let him across.
Larry used to do the marketing and the
Yeah.
track prep and the
Everything.
announcing some days.
Only when we made him really mad, but yeah.
That's
he was,
right.
Oh, here he comes again. Oops.
You didn't have to go work?
Well, they've already tripped the breakers. These are metal halide
Halogen headlights.
Halide? Halide.
halide lights. They need to cool off, and they need to cool to a certain point before they'll come back on. So you just got to give it a few minutes here.
All right, well, why don't you get a beer? Yeah, right. That's odd.
Well, pretty cool getting in the Northern Super Truck Hall of Fame, no doubt about that. I earlier announced that he was the first inductee, but
Should be.
Second, I guess.
Second again?
Yeah,
Who's-
second again.
Who was first?
I don't know. They just told me
Bet
down
you
there.
it was Lynn Lucken.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I got to visit the Hall of Fame one day and check it out.
I'll let age go before beauty for sure.
Oh, man. You're leaving yourself open, but being this is a family show, we can't go there, but
You know, speaking of Hall of Fames, though, I don't think we've ever talked about this, Pat, and I know I meant to last year or the year before, but you got inducted into the River City Speedway Hall of Fame. That must have felt pretty good because that is an awesome, awesome facility.
yeah, that was something. That was, I think, last year. And I forget who it was. Kevin Jopp and myself were inducted
Right.
last year.
I used to race against Kevin Jopp. He
Right.
he was a rocket most
He
nights.
was.
Yep.
Oddly enough, his nephew, Cale Jopp, helps Mike Balkin on his late model when Mike's racing south of the border.
Okay. Well, I
Racing
remember Kevin.
community is a small one.
You'll remember going way back. This will be 1991, which you'll probably easily remember. No, but we were racing. Remember Hallock?
Oh, yeah.
Hallock operated every Sunday night, and we were actually racing lightning sprints in 91, and I could not get that car to turn. Kevin Jopp hopped in it for me, drove it, almost flipped it 4 or 5 times. I was never so scared with a brand new race car in my life. He got out of it, and he says, change the right rear bar in the shock and put a different torsion bar in the right front. After he did that, car was totally different animal. It was unbelievable how fast he figured it out.
I can remember back then, everybody used to think you were cheating because you used to win all the races. And yeah, you know what? You were the only guy back then running a 4-stroke motor. Everybody else ran those dentist's drills.
Yeah, those 2-stroke snowmobile engines. Yeah, that's no. Well, I shouldn't say it's
That's
no
those
more. I think
hideous
they
sound goal.
still run them in Greenbush once in a while. But yeah, the 4-strokes definitely sound better, especially the 1000s now.
So, you guys haven't got a beer yet or something good to eat. Why don't you do that? Because apparently these lights need to get pretty cool. I don't know how they went out.
Maybe the breaker. Trip did it.
Something.
Well, I don't know.
Gee whiz, you're
I'm just trying to see if
how
you're
many
shot.
years in university
This
were
video
you?
production is sponsored in part by RD Sales and Service. We service what others sell. For all mechanical repairs, trust our professionals. RD Sales and Service is a proud sponsor of the number 17 Super Truck and Sprint Car.
Larry was talking about these metal halide lighting systems, and they have to cool before you can fire them back up. Well, nowadays, in the bigger, newer stadiums and arenas, they actually use a shutter system on these lights. So they can actually flick it, and they're on instantly, so to speak. So when they go lights out before a Jets game or a Bomber game, well, actually, the Bomber games are lights out before they even start. But anyway, with the Jets,
Hey, I heard the guys from the RCMP were telling me, you got to hear this. I was talking to the guys from the RCMP. They told me they got a new program in place. If you are caught speeding in Manitoba by the RCMP, they're going to issue you 2 Bomber tickets. Now, if you're caught a second time, they're going to force you to use them. That's just what they told me. I don't know. I don't know anything about feetball. Oh, boy.
well, I'll tell you, Pat, a neighbor of mine was having a heck of a problem with some Bomber guys coming by his yard, and he fixed the problem. He just painted a goal line right across his driveway. None of them would cross it.
And the next thing I heard someone say was, how many Blue Bombers does it take to win a Grey Cup? And they said, well, we don't know. We may never know. We just don't know.
Go Jets, go, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, look at, I see a little light coming over there. Huh? Look at that. Oh. Well, I looked up at the pole and I thought I saw a little something. Oh, we're going to get enough guys. Look at this. We're going to get enough guys pointing their headlights at the track that they're going to think we're going to do this without those lights on top. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Right. You know what? I used to race here when the place was lit like that. Honestly.
I bought a place that
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I didn't know they had electricity back then.
Well, we had a hamster on a
It's
giant
getting back.
wheel.
We're killing time. We got to talk about something.
Honest to goodness, that was the worst thing about racing here back in the day. You ask guys that raced back in the day, was the lighting. It was absolutely frightening. And now, this lighting here, you can literally read a newspaper, well, once they've cooled off.
You know what the funny part is, Pat? I actually sold those lights to Warren Speedway, and they put them in there. So, but they ran during the day, so it didn't matter.
I was going to say, well, you're a good salesman because they only ever race Sunday in the afternoons. Next, you'll be telling me you sold an ice cube maker in the Arctic. I know. Look at, have we got any light happening there? Is that coming? It is coming from the pole. I'll bet you. Yeah, they're coming on. We're going to be good here in another hour or so.
Pat, I just want to thank everybody, especially the Super Trucks. That was very nice of them to induct me into their Hall of Fame, and it's been a slice talking with you guys again. You're quite the characters. Always having a good time up here in the tower. Now that you're sober, you're not quite as funny, but you know what? You're still a bunch of great guys. So you guys have fun tonight. I'm going to go watch some racing.
Speak for Pat.
Well, thanks, Larry, and congratulations. You're well deserving of that. Well deserved, I'll tell you. It sure should be the guy that started the class. It'd certainly be
No doubt about it.
Hall of Fame. Well, looks like we're getting lit up. The lights have cooled off and they're warming back up. And
How about the bounty? The bounty.
the bounty, $250 to the driver that can beat Jamie Vernaus tonight. Now, if 3 guys finish ahead of him, that doesn't mean 3 guys get $250. The guy that wins the race gets $250.
Getting ready to go here, Pat, with your 20-lap Hall of Fame race.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Well, the 29 of Shane Holden is your leader, followed by Dustin Enns. Jamie Vernaus is 5th already. Or maybe 4th. Jamie Vernaus sticking to the bottom of the track. He is 3rd. Your leader, Shane Holden, followed by the Enns brothers 18 of Dustin Enns. 3rd is Vernaus. Luckin in 4th. Here comes Glenn Manning looking good. Lynn Luckin in 5th spot now. Tavia Dorge having a great race with Lynn Luckin. The Ford versus Chevy. Ian Russo in the A1 Environmental 73 storming through. Shane Holden looking good in the 29. 2nd spot still the 18. Manning is having a good run here in the LD Electric 5. He is up to 4th and challenging Vernaus. Dustin Enns closing the gap up on your leader, Shane Holden, now in the 29. Shane, of course, also competes in the street stock division. Dustin Enns tries the inside on the 29. That's a good race for first and second. Enns with a run. So it's the 18, the 29, the 2, and the 5. A great 4-truck race. After that, another 4-truck race. The 73 of Ian Russo, the 17 of Tavia Doors, the 14 of Kevin Braggett, and the 22 dropping out of that one. Jamie Vernos now trying the 29. New leader is the 18 of Dustin Enns. Now it's the 2 of Vernos. Don't forget, Jamie started dead last in this one and has worked his way up to second with 12 laps to go. We have got a spinner, the 67 of Zondag, the birthday boy, is around at the bottom of turn 2. Well, Pat, 67 goes around in turn number 2, so we'll have a yellow flag on the Speedway. Now, Jamie Vernos, obviously the guy to watch. I mean, we talk about him, and we talk about him, and we talk about him, but what can you say about a guy that has lost just one feature in this class at this Speedway in 2013? You'll hear of guys going, 30% of their features, 40% maybe, which is huge. Well, Jamie Vernos has to be in the 90% range, so that is something else.
Well, initially you said, what do you say about a guy that's done that? I'll tell you what I say about it. Time to change classes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But he's got to finish this year out.
Well, certainly. Absolutely right. But, yeah, it's been there, done that for these guys in this truck class. Well, with 12 to go, we got Enns up front, Holden at second. Boy, it looked like Glenn Manning was going to get by Vernos there a couple times in the 5.
Absolutely. He was running a good race. Manning is always very smooth and very fluid behind the wheel. Had some trouble in the heat race today. I don't know what that was all about, but he seemed to have regained everything back now. Well, we want to thank Caldeck Trailers for all their support of this Super Truck division. Also, Viper Construction and Fine Ride Auto. Also, the series sponsors, Engrave, RD Sales, Hainer Auto Sales, Caldeck Trailers, GW Transmission, Rental Race Cars, Brazier Racing, and Dynasty Bathrooms.
1 lap to green, Darren. We realign them. The Delaware double file restart. The leader out front on his own. Then the second place truck, in this case, gets to choose his lane, and he has chosen the inside. Well, that leaves the outside for Jamie Vernos. 4th place is always inside row 3, and that's the way they are right now.
That, you made an interesting observation earlier in this race. You said that you'd like to see somebody go up higher and see if they can find something up there. Well, Jamie Vernos is likely going to have to here, so he just might find something and sweep around everybody.
Could well do exactly that. Here we go for Frontier Subaru.
Glenn Manning in a great big hurry. In the LD Electric number 5, good-looking race truck. Oh, spinners in turn 1 and 2. The 22 is around. That is Danik Picton. So, yellow flag coming out on the Speedway. 8 down, 12 to go here in your Super Truck feature, but wow.
Yeah, there's 8 or 9 trucks here. This front cluster here, this is a, boy, I'll tell you, Glenn Manning come off of that turn 4 like he was shot out of a cannon. This race is far from over yet. I know that Jamie Vernos is the favorite in the Dynasty Bathrooms too, but favorite is one thing, but doesn't mean it can't happen. Doesn't mean someone else can't knock him off. Don't forget, what did you say first place paid tonight?
$1,300.
Well, they usually race for $300.
That's right. 1,000 came from the series sponsors who we just talked about. So thanks to all of them. That's big money. $1,300. That's 4 feature wins.
Well, that's the biggest purse of the night.
And you got, well, think about this. Nobody in this class except once has been able to win the $300 except Jamie. If you win the $1,300 tonight and it's not Jamie, somebody just picked up 4 feature wins.
And they pick up another $250 bonus for the bounty tonight if they're able to do it.
Right.
So you know that Enns, Holden, Manning, everybody out there is wanting to take a shot at their 15 minutes of fame, but I think the guys, only the guys in the front four, I think, are the guys that where the winner's going to have to come from. And that's no brilliant observation or anything. I don't think. Boy, I don't know. Braggett's back there, Tavy and Dorge, anything?
Yeah, it's good racing. You know, it's kind of divided, right? You got good racing in the top four and good racing in the final four.
Bones on the front straightaway now, so no Delaware start. We go back to green for Frontier Subaru.
Dustin Enns does a nice job blocking the bottom, but now Jamie Vernaus gets inside of the 29. They are side by side. Great three-truck race. Now Holden goes to the top of the track. Can he find something up there? What a race the 18 and the 29 are having. Jamie Vernaus is right behind them, waiting for some sort of mistake. Vernaus now pulls up alongside the 29 of Shane Holden. Ooh, Vernaus has got the bottom now, Holden a little higher. Jamie Vernaus on the inside of the 29, but he fights back. Now Vernaus going inside of the 18. Into turn 3, new leader Vernaus. Jamie Vernaus from the back to the front in 10 laps. Great racing. Look at the top 5. It is Vernaus, then the 29 of Holden, the 18 of Enns, then it's Glenn Manning, then Ian Russo coming up nicely now in the 73P. Troubles on the front chute. We've got a spinner. Yellow flag is out on the Speedway. Well, we will go back one completed lap of racing, but Jamie Vernaus has been leading for 2 or 3 now. So, Pat, these super truck drivers hoping for that $1,300 first prize, well, that is slowly diminishing.
Well, and again, it's 15-50 if somebody can do it. But so if money is a motivating factor, that's all it should ever take in a class that races for $300 to win every week. So they're racing for $1,500 tonight, $1,550 tonight. You know that if money rings the bell, they got it on the line tonight. But Jamie and the crew in that 2 truck are just right now they're unbeatable. I don't know how whoever won the one they didn't win won that one. I really don't. I mean, he looks so good. You watch that truck go around there, the thing goes wherever he puts it, and it sticks. The truck handles so well. It's pretty to watch.
Well, and you know, those guys, like every racer, put in an awful lot of time as well, and it's not cheap to go auto racing in any form, but the time is also a big factor, and you got to be dedicated. I mean, it's got to be in your head almost 24 hours a day, even if you're not at the shop. You always got to be. If you want to be competitive, it's just one of those passion things. You got to be a little more passionate than the next guy, and no doubt about it, the Dynasty crew are very passionate about what they do. So, 8 laps on the Pepsi board. That means we have 12 completed, and we are 1 to green, says Rob Como, our Castrol flagman. All right, so 8 to go. The Dynasty bathrooms. Joey's only number 2 will be your leader at the restart. And it'll be the 29 of Shane Holden, the 18 of Dustin Enns, sponsored by Monster Energy and Patura Seeds. 4th is the LD Electric Nick and Nate's number 5. That is Glenn Manning, who used to prepare the racetrack here at Red River Co-op Speedway. Took a couple years off racing and is back now. Kevin Braggett out of Lake Bronson, Minnesota, is 5th. A little bit of contact as we go green. Shane Holden tries that high line through turn number 1 and 2. But the Dynasty Bathrooms 2 very strong off the bottom of turn 2. That truck is driving off in a big way. Ian Russo back on the Speedway in the 73 truck. 04 back on the Speedway as well. Jamie Vernouse will have lap traffic to contend with now. Spinner in turn 4, yellow flag is out. Danik Picton spun out in turn 4. Well, while we have a minute, we'd like to thank Bison Fire Protection, Centennial Transport, Will Eli Ford, Mazer Group, Oakwood Roofing, Pioneer Window and Door, Piston Ring, Rondex, Trophy Connection, Metro Trailers, Criticare EMS, Old Dutch, BP Group, Sun Valley RV, Kennedy Flooring, and Keewatin Truck Services for all their help.
6 to go, Darren. Has anybody got it? I mean, oh, by the way, congratulations to Kyle McKenzie, the winner of our 50-50 prize tonight.
I've got Al McKenzie.
Yeah, I know it's Kyle.
I know. What'd you say? I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I can hear you just fine. I got my hearing aids at Winnipeg Hearing Center. Kyle McKenzie's been buying 50-50 tickets here for probably 25 years. I think that might be his first win.
$650, that's pretty good.
That's nice, yep.
That's exactly half of what this race is paying. So he didn't have to spend 30 grand to do it either.
No, that's true. Well, what are we waiting on now, I wonder? Lineup's good, girls? Oh.
1 to green.
The girls are a little touchy tonight. I don't know why.
Wow. Hey, you just try to have a nice conversation. Yeah. Wow. Maybe that half wall shouldn't be a half. Maybe it should be full. Hey?
They've been trying to get that wall to go all the way across here for years. They just
Can you do drywall?
quite in the budget.
All right. Well, it's going to be the 2, the 29, the 18, the 5, and the 14 on the restart in the top 5. 6 laps on the Pepsi board. And we are Super Truck Racing. Hall of Fame race. Oh boy. More trouble in turn 1 and 2. The 5 collects the 17 of Tavia Dorge. I don't know if the 5 went around by himself. And it looks like Ian Russo in the 73 truck involved as well. So that'll bring out yet another yellow flag. They're going to have to restitch that thing later on.
Sure good thing we stretched this race out 5 laps, isn't it?
Well, the clock is ticking down. We didn't explain the clock, but it originally had 20 minutes. So when you have a 20-lap race, you get 20 minutes on that clock on the flag stand. If you have a 15-lap race, you get 15 minutes. The idea, if that clock reaches 0, and it's got about 4 minutes and 15 seconds on it now, if it reaches 0 and we have yet another yellow flag, regardless of how many laps are left in the race, they go to a green-white checkered situation. So in other words, if the drivers can't get it done in a minute per lap, well, they will not get it done without a green-white checkered. So that is the idea, and we're down to 3:55 now.
Darren, I just found out that the 5 truck of Glenn Manning has been charged with that yellow.
Oh, tough break. He was having a nice night there in the feature. Had a rough heat race, as we talked about. Seemed to really get the handle on it here in the feature. And now we'll start at the back. So at least we'll get the opportunity to see him come through traffic a little bit.
Well, we will, but that is a tough break for Manning, of course, with the extra money up and whatnot. You can imagine why the guys are and girls are trying just that little wee bit harder. Oddly enough, that big money for the win tonight, it's $1,300 to win. I said to Darren when we were watching that race, I said, is there any money further down the order? And the answer was no.
I don't know if they've beefed it up, though, to tell you the honest truth. I don't know if they beefed up 2nd through 10th or whatever it is, but I know the one I'd want to win, and that's $1,300.
Yeah, no doubt. Yes, absolutely right. No doubt about it. Well, I think there's 5 people that can do it from where they are right now, and they got to get moving. Only 6 to go.
All right, Pat, getting ready to go racing.
Green flag.
Green flag is out. Great race. Dustin Enns getting inside of Shane Holden momentarily, but can't make that pass. Holden remains second. Third is the 18. Fourth, Kevin Braggett in the KBR chassis. Jamie Vernaus is running the string out on the field. Davia Dorge moving nicely now in the RD Sales and Service number 17. 3 wide, down the back straightaway. Kevin Braggett is inside of the 18 and looking good, making it stick. Lake Bronson, Minnesota's Kevin Braggett now third. That is Ford powered. Look at Kevin Braggett in the 14, man, with a yellow flag. He might have a shot at the 2. Well, just 3 laps away for Jamie Vernaus. And if he can take the checkered flag, he will improve on his near-perfect record in 2013.
White flag this time by Jamie Vernaus, your race leader. Great race behind him from second on back, but Jamie Vernaus, the class of the field tonight, he is out there and gone on the rest of the field. And he comes shoot your port of the checkers. How about a hand for him, everybody? Jamie Vernaus picks up the $1,300. Second spot goes to Shane Holden. Third to Kevin Braggett, the 14. Fourth to the 18 of Dustin Enns, and fifth, the 5 of Glenn Manning. Well, that big fat purse was helped along with by Viper Construction and Fine Ride Auto, as well as Engrave, RD Sales, Hanner Auto Sales, Caldeck Trailers, GW Transmission, Rental Race Car, Brazier Racing, and Dynasty Bathrooms. We'd like to also take a moment while we get our winner down front for a post-race interview with Darren Pallon. We want to say thank you to some of our signboard sponsors that include Abel Crane, Johnson Waste Management, Assiniboia Downs, Darren Pallon Productions, Cal Tire, 92 City FM, Miller Genuine Draft, Schneider's, Paradigm Homes, Destination Winnipeg, Accurate Scale, and Arctic Cat. Hey, we're throwing away more stuff. We are tossing out more shirts, caps. Well, he's sponsored by Dynasty Bathrooms. Future Tint and Stripe keeps that truck looking so good. Joey's Only Seafood. And that's a little fish they're throwing out right now, I believe. Courtesy of Joey's Only Seafood. Ambrosi Electric, Dynasty Bathrooms, KBR Chassis. Future Tint and Stripe keeps that truck looking as sharp as it looks. And we're going to get Darren down front here in just a moment with the giant-sized check, the giant-sized trophy. There's your winner, everybody. How about a big hand for him, Jamie Vernaus. Oh, man. Nobody gets the bounty tonight. We go down to the stage to Darren Pallon.
Thanks very much, Pat. Jamie Vernaus, near-perfect record remains intact. I don't know how they're going to beat you. They might need to start you in St. Norbert or something.
I don't know. We were just being patient and saving the tires for the end, and the truck just came around, and just again being patient.
Well, Shane Holden looked real good out there. Dustin Enns as well. I mean, you had some competition, but once you kept on those tires and kept them underneath you, it was just a great job.
I got to thank the crew. I got to thank Eugene Boyachko, Dylan Barron, Dave Buffy, and especially Ken Onswich. You know, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be living the dream doing this.
No doubt about that. How about it? One more time, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the big check. $1,300 to Jamie Vernaus and the Dynasty Bathrooms team. That is awesome. Back up to you, Pat.
Thank you, Darren. Congratulations to Jamie and the Dynasty Bathrooms crew. Another great job. And the question I'd like to ask is, who beat him the night he didn't win it, and how the heck did they do it? What a great job he's done this year. Man, oh man.